to EUROSIS. It's the 5th episode already, and today we're going to be watching songs from the second semi-final. So the entries waiting for us to be explored today are Norway, Romania, Serbia, San Marino and Denmark. I hope that those entries are going to be fun, or at least interesting, or at least weird. So let's get on with it. Our very first contestant needs no introduction, I think, because everybody knows who Alexander Rybak is. But as per tradition, I'm going to say a few things about him. Alexander Rybak is the winner of 2009 Eurovision Song Contest, which was held in Moscow. Actually, he holds the record for the most impressive win. Like, he got the most points in Eurovision history. It was like a landslide victory. His song Fairy Tale was super popular, was a hit across Europe, and also the album that he released later was quite popular as well. So like I said, he's a household name now. I have to admit that I have heard the song earlier, because when I've heard that he's been selected again to represent Norway in the Eurovision Song Contest, out of curiosity, I've seen it. So I'm sorry, this is not going to be like my very first initial reaction, but I have only seen it once. I swear. One thing more about Alexander Rybak, he's actually of Belarusian descent. He was born in Minsk, but he grew up in Norway, so that's why he represents Norway. The title is That's How You Write a Song. So it's in English, obviously. Boo! Right.
Hi, Alexander.
The girl seems Norwegian, so why is she... Oh no, but it's written in Norwegian, but for some reason you hear English. Doesn't make sense! Okay. Yeah, show off. We know you play instruments, man. That kind of reminds me of like 90s pop songs, especially 90s European pop songs, I think. It has a kind of a similar funky sound. It's not easy to repeat.
And that's how you write a song.
Really? Boogie, boogie, boogie. Oh, this one I could repeat. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I told you that writing songs was easy. Yeah.
Sing it all day long. Step 2, just roll with it. That's how you write a song. Step 1, believe in it and sing it all day long. Step 2, just roll with it. That's how you write a song.
Yeah, it was nice. I would like slightly longer chorus maybe, but generally it's pretty catchy. It's very easy to remember. It has also a very nice hook that I like more actually than in the Czech song, which is also like super catchy and super addictive because of that trumpet hook. This one is, even better. I would say that this is like Lie to Me of the second semi-final, or maybe Lie to Me is That's How You Write a Song of the first semi-final. Whatever. I think it's definitely going to be in the final. Will he be able to win again? I don't think that has ever happened in Eurovision history. No, I'm certain it has never happened in the Eurovision history. Like I said, he already has done impressive things. He won by a landslide in the year that when there were a lot of other good songs, at least in my opinion. Maybe he'll be the first in history to win it twice, I don't know. Let's move on. The next song is representing Romania, and since the semi-finals have been introduced to the Eurovision Song Contest, Romania has been the only country to qualify for the grand final every single time. So there are some high expectations to live up to. At least I have high expectations. Romania is represented by the band The Humans. The band is made up of 6 people who all have very rich portfolio. They're all really accomplished musicians in Romania. This is their original song. So yeah, I am expecting a lot from this. The title of the song is Goodbye. So it's in English. Boo! And also, you know how many songs have been written about goodbyes? A lot. Couldn't you select any other topic? It's like, this is getting really boring, you know, everybody sings about love and now they sing about goodbye, which also has to do with love. Let's hear it. Okay, starts with a piano, so sounds like a ballad.
It's time.
Okay.
For me to say goodbye. It's fine. I've tried a million times.
A million times, are you sure about that?
To kiss the emptiness.
Okay. So we have some proper rock, finally. There's always at least one song in the Eurovision every year. A girl with a cello. I have to say, cello is my favorite instrument. So that's nice, I guess.
Don't be afraid. I hear you cry.
All those people with masks, what's up with that?
Don't cry.
You know how she clearly pronounces every word. It's like, this is perfect for like a listening comprehension exercise in English lessons. Oh, that was the end. Yeah, not really. I wasn't moved by that song at all. This is the problem with rock today. I don't think there are any rock bands left that really have anything new to show. When I was a teenager, I was a metalhead and stuff like that. I like the old stuff, but there's no new stuff that is worth listening to, really, except for like one band maybe that actually I know from the Eurovision Song Contest. Some other time I might tell you about it. So that was Romania. Let's move on. The next song is representing Serbia. There's several reasons why I think this might be fantastic. First of all, for the last 3 years, Serbia has been consistently sending songs in English, which was to me super disappointing because before that they've been the only country that has never like performed the song even partially in English. It was always in Serbian. However, last year They failed to qualify for the grand final, and finally they've learned their lesson, and this year, yes, they're going to be sending a song in Serbian, which is just so fantastic. I love it, especially that Serbian really is one of the nicest sounding languages that I've ever heard. The second reason why I'm super excited about this entry is because the band Balkanica that is going to perform the song. So I'll just read to you how they describe their music. The musical style of Balkanica is an original sound combined with elements of world music based on the powerful native rhythm of the Balkans, mixed with modern approaches and sensibilities. Just reading this brings me joy. This sounds like something that I'm going to love. I will be super disappointed if it turns out to be bad, but I don't think it will. Traditional Balkan music never sucks. It's a scientifically proven fact. Another interesting thing is that Alexander Sanja Ilic, and he's the leader of the band, it's not Sanja Ilic's first time in the Eurovision Song Contest. He has already participated as a composer in 1982. He and Eurovision go way back. I actually checked out the song and it was terrible. The 80s were not a good time for the Eurovision Song Contest. You remember 80s in music? It was a great time for music. None of that is reflected in the Eurovision Song Contest. And that was no exception. Haircuts of the band members were time appropriate. Everything else about their performance was screaming 70s. They were even singing like shoo up, shoo up. That's supposed to be the 80s? Seriously? It was terrible. But he's had a long time to improve in his songwriting skills. So I hope that this is going to sound better than that. There's one thing that bothers me though. You know, originally the band consisted of 9 musicians, 6 instrumentalists, 1 male and 2 female vocals, and later they were joined by 2 trumpeters and 1 female vocalist. So correct me if I'm wrong, that's 12 people. The Eurovision regulations allow 7 people on stage at any given moment. One time in the contest, a fan got on the stage and Spain had to repeat their whole performance because it was not legitimate according to the Eurovision rules, which did not help them because the song sucked so bad. What are they going to do about this? Will some of the band members perform from the backstage? I'm really curious how this is going to be dealt with. Let's listen to the song. I have to have both earphones in my ears because this is so wonderful.
Naši vreme prestaje da žuri kad si sa mnom ti. Svet je naš i osmehom se budim zato što postojiš ti. Sve je jasnije, sunce sija drugačije. Svet je naš i nova deca stava
Wow.
bolji svet.
You hearing this beat? This is crazy. It's like they tried to fit everything into this song. Like, make it a ballad, but make it a dance song at the same time. This is insanity. Are you seeing these girls' outfits? Oh, this is something I can sing along to. That's it. That's the problem with the Eurovision songs. They're too short. Okay, well, I do like it, of course. But, you know, it's like, remember the Peace, Peace, Love, Love song? It was something that they did in the grand final in 2016 in Sweden. They made the ultimate Eurovision song. This is like the ultimate Eurovision song. You have an old man playing the flute, you have some electronic beats, you have drums, both ethnic, a little bit pop rock, a little bit dance at the same. Everything is just matched together. It's a bit much. Even for me. They're like trying too hard. Sometimes, I can't believe I'm saying this, less is more. Generally I say like less isn't more. More is more. But in this case, I think it's a bit too much. If it's too much even for me, then I think it's way too much for other people. This was Serbia. Let's move on. Next entry is from San Marino. I think it's not fair to kind of like take the piss out of people, especially people who work really hard and try to succeed in show business, which is a really tricky business. But I find it really funny when I read about the background of these two artists who perform the San Marino song. First of all, Jessica Muscat, she's the main performer here. The other artist is just featuring. Jessica is a Maltese singer, and actually it seems like her entire musical career was centered around trying to represent Malta in the Eurovision Song Contest. I can actually sympathize with this because, well, I love Eurovision too. But seriously, the first time she participated in the national selection for the Eurovision Song Contest was in 2011, and then she was practically trying again and again and again, year after year, and failing. Malta is a nation of 0.5 million people. I didn't realize that the competition to represent Malta was so tough. Or maybe Jessica just sucks so bad. Eventually, her dream came true. She's going to be participating in the Eurovision Song Contest, but representing San Marino and not Malta. Sorry. The second artist is Jennifer. I don't know if I should say Jennifer or Jennifer Brenning, because she's German. I actually checked out her website. It's an absolute nightmare. It kind of looks like a 13-year-old designed her album covers, seriously. And if you thought that Rebecca Black's video for Friday was bad, then you ain't seen nothing yet. Seriously, you should check this girl's YouTube channel because it's quite funny. She is a talented singer. I mean, like, there's absolutely no doubt about that. I'm really curious what it's going to sound like. Unfortunately, it's in English, so boo. I don't know what to expect. We'll see.
Bullied from the moment we were born, we were always on our own. No one
A robot? What?
should be proud or embrace the fact they're standing out for too long.
You should embrace the fact that you stand out. I agree with this.
Putting up a show, but that was then.
Shut up.
Look at us now. All we want is for them to know we are who we
What's up with those robots?
We are is who we wanna be. We don't have to listen, 'cause
What?
all that counts is you and me.
Listen up, it's me, Jenny B. What you get is what you see, and that's for Jess over here. She's
She raps?
so you better listen carefully. If they're dissing
I didn't know she rapped.
you better look it up and be a quitter. Show 'em you better. Hell no, if you say
listen. Great choreography. What is she actually singing there? I mean, Jennifer is like, or something. It kind of reminds me of that joke, you know? A job interview. So we heard you want to be a backing rapper. And the guy says, yeah. She's like just, I don't know, like walking around and doing God knows what. And sometimes she just takes the microphone and puts it next to her mouth, but you don't actually hear much. The whole thing was kind of absurd. I don't get what these two robots were doing on that stage and what Jennifer was doing on that stage, to be honest. Most of the time she had her back to the audience. This was maybe not hilariously bad, but it was definitely not very good. I'm thinking, what are they going to come up with in the live performance? Are there going to be robots too? We shall find out. Let's move on. So this is the song representing Denmark, and the title is Higher Ground. So it's in English, but I am not going to boo that. Nuh-uh. Singing in Danish in an international competition is the musical equivalent of shooting yourself in the foot. No, actually, I'm on board with this. It is performed by a guy named Rasmussen, and just look at him. He looks like he just stepped out of the set for the Vikings or Game of Thrones or something. The song that he's going to be singing actually is about the Viking, and it's not about love. So it is, you guessed it, about peace. So the story is, I actually have to read this because it's interesting in my opinion. The song is inspired by the Viking Magnus Erlendsson and his refusal to fight in the Battle of Anglesey Sound in 1098. Contrary to standard depictions of Viking inclinations, Erlendsson believed in non-violence and would have none of the fighting, looting and pillaging. He defied his king and code of conduct and took a stand for something he believed in. Of course we can make fun of that, but actually I totally agree with this wholeheartedly. This song is composed by, you guessed it, Swedish songwriters. I'm really curious what it's going to sound like.
Ships in the making, bound for a distant shore, a world for the taking, men gone forevermore, boarding and setting sail, yet victory won't prevail. Oh, freeze the arrow in the air, make your mark and leave it hanging there. Be the first to turn around, take the leap to land on higher ground.
Okay, that part is nice.
Call it surrender, still won't feel like defeat. Men
I would have liked it more if he had a lower voice. I don't know, I'm boring with this, but I just really like, you know, low-pitched male voices. It's a bit too high. Like, I think it would be a lot more impactful if they kept it a bit lower. And sounds really tacky, the chorus, so... But I would listen to that song just for that short part there. A bit tacky. A bit. very tacky. I do like the sentiment behind the song, but I'm not sure if the execution is the best. The idea to make it a pop song, an electronic beat in the background, was a bad idea. If you really want to make a song about the Vikings, it should be gothic rock. Or metal. I don't care if it's about peace and not war, it should still be gothic rock. Thank you very much for joining me for the 5th episode of EUROSIS. I hope you had fun. I think this was quite an interesting selection that we had today. Which one is your favorite? I think my favorite out of all of those is actually the Norwegian song, is actually Alexander Rybak, I have to say. Even though I really appreciate Serbia, it's very like non-pretentious. Do you say that in English? I don't know, because we say that in Polish, bezpretensjonalny, and I think that this is exactly the right word that describes that song. It's not trying too hard, it's not trying to appeal to everybody, it's just, it is what it is, and it's a nice song. I hope you will join me next time for another portion of Eurovision songs from the second semi-final. So I'll see you later. Bye!